I want to use this video to provide an overview of the Canvas chat function. This should get us all on the same page for the finance class question and answer session. This is the module view in Canvas. I've been encouraging people to use this view to view their classes. If you look at this particular view, you'll notice that on the right hand side there's a little button for chat, and that's the way you get into the chat area within this system. So you simply click on that. Should bring you to a screen that looks something like this. As you'll see on the screen, I'm the only participant in the class at this point, but you get a blank screen that looks like this. If you look at the screen itself, I've expanded it, down the bottom is basically where you would type in text into the chat room. So in this case, I've typed in, "Welcome to the question and answer session." I hit enter. The text itself appears on the screen as my input into the chat room, and you could all do this. We could all participate simultaneously in this process. I'd like to use the chat a little bit with the video and the audio capabilities. I have no idea how this is going to work with a large group of students, but let's try it. So if I were to click on Start Broadcasting, get a screen that looks like this. Note that it gives me two choices. It gives me microphone only and built-in Insight, iSight, I guess that is. I happen to be on a Mac, so this is the built-in camera at the top of my computer. If you have a camera, you can certainly try to use the iSight. So I'll click on the iSight and continue. This should generate a video of me. My next choice is, what do I want to use for the microphone, or am I doing... in my case, I'm using something called built-in microphone. I tried both the other the built-in import. It didn't seem to work, so the microphone seemed to work for me. I'm not sure what will work for you. I click continue. Brings me to another screen. This is really the important screen around the microphone. There's a talk button you'll see on the top of the screen. I'll point to that in a second. And there's an open microphone. I experimented with this the other day. Push to talk didn't seem to work properly. So I went with open microphone. And what that really means is we'll all be able to talk simultaneously. Please, just like kindergarten, please don't all talk at once. And we'll be able to use the mute buttons to silence people who are not speaking at that time. So you mute when you're on, mute when you're off, talk when you want to have something to say. So once you go through that process, you get a screen that looks something like this. Again, it has in this case, a non-moving picture of me. I want to point out the mute button up there. You can mute and unmute your conversation. So when it's time to talk, you can pose your questions unmuted, and I will mute myself. I will unmute myself to answer your questions. So that's the basics of this class, assuming we're able to do it with the microphones in the headset. Otherwise, simply do it with the typing in your materials below, and we'll try to address it from there. This is back to the main screen here. One other item I want to highlight on this, kind of a cool feature, is a little icon next. There's a YouTube icon there, and next to the YouTube icon is a little pencil thing in a box. This is a whiteboard. This particular function has a whiteboard associated with it. If I click on the whiteboard, I get some product called FlockDrawer. I'm not really sure exactly who makes this product or where it comes from, but it seems to be a pretty cool whiteboard function. And in the right-hand column, you have a series of tools. You have the first item is a pencil, and you can draw on the whiteboard with your pencil. I guess it's a pencil, maybe it's a magic marker. Your second item is an eraser. There's a couple other items here. I want to point out the kind of A and B item here allows you to basically type text onto the screen. There's an item here to save it. The item in the middle there, the thing that looks like the little snowman, actually is an item that allows you to change the size of your cursor, so you can erase large quantities and type in small print. The one other item I wanted to note about this FlockDrawer was there's a chat function. So if you put chat down there, you can have a chat window and have a conversation with all the other people in the drawing thing. My thought is that, not that I would use this during the help sessions, but that this might be a nice idea for some of your team assignments, if you're able to. Team assignments are working with your colleagues on a project. And this is an example here where I've used a couple different functions. I've used the type function to type in the material that looks typed. I've put a line between cost of goods sold and profit using the pencil. And I've, as best I can on a whiteboard on my computer using my mouse, you can see why I'm a finance professor, not a graphic designer, have showed a calculation for gross margin on the screen. So that's pretty much it for this video that highlights how to use the chat functions, how to get to the chat functions within Canvas that we'll be using for the question and answer sessions. I look forward to your participation in the sessions.